stay online. Right.
Right.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to the latest episode of the Soccer Podcast Show. I'm your host, Paul, and I'm joined by my co-host, Noel. So welcome, Noel. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Noel, we'll just
No problem,
move
Paul.
forward now. The World Cup is over. I next believe that there's the Nations League coming up. I actually believe they're playing Northern Ireland. I think in that'll be very interesting. We'll say. So just where do Ireland go? The World Cup campaign is over. Do we know where can they go in the future? Is the next a big objective to qualify for the next Euros? I want to try win this group in the Nations League matches? And just your general thoughts on the future of the Irish women's soccer team.
Well, I think the future is bright. I mean, considering 4 years ago, I think after Vera Pauw took over from Colin Bell, they were at a bit of a low ebb, and the progress that we made in the last 4 years has been very, very good. Now, we could and probably should have got to at least a European Championship playoff. The loss against Ukraine was heartbreaking, and I think the following game was against Germany, but I think the last 2 or 3-1 in that game, so it's finished off the hopes ahead for the Euros that time. But as far as I know, Paul, this Nations League is like the men's. It's just more complicated to figure out. But as far as I know, they're playing Northern Ireland at home in the Aviva,
Right.
from what I hear.
Yeah, I believe so.
Now we were talking about Vera Pauw's contract in the last podcast. Whatever they decide, they need to make a decision quickly, because Northern Ireland, I saw on last night, there was a Northern Ireland International. Kenny Shields left the Northern Ireland gig a couple of months ago. Northern Ireland themselves haven't got a new manager in. The game between Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland is in, I think it's the 22nd or 23rd of September, around that time. So we're the 1st of August now at the moment. Both associations, whatever they say, whether they want to give Vera Pauw a new contract or if they want to let her go and get a new manager in, they need to make these decisions fairly quickly now, Paul, to be quite honest, because the last thing we want is going on a bad run. I think with the quality of players we have at the moment, that I think Northern Ireland and Hungary and Albania are the other two teams, or they're all the teams in the group. From what I gather, if you do well in the Nations League, you're seeded. You can improve your seedings for the European Championship qualifiers.
Yeah.
I think Ireland now, given they got to the World Cup and they've improved over the last couple of years, they should be going there now and trying to win that group and get a good seeding now for the European Championship qualifiers.
What build your confidence by winning the group as well, you know?
Well, that's just it, Paul. I mean, the reason why we got a horrible group in the World Cup, it was our first time, but also our seeding wouldn't have been the best. I think even for the qualifiers in the World Cup, Sweden and Finland, I think, were first and second. Ireland were third season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So Ireland now has gone up in the seedings by obviously getting the playoff, finishing second, getting to the World Cup, getting a point to the World Cup. So obviously all this has been progress again and again and again, year after year. So now we need to make sure that we don't. Hopefully we do qualify for the next Euros, which we all hope to do. That are not in a horrible group again like this one, like, you know, two or three of the best teams in the one group, and you're down there, the fourth seeds, as being your first timer. So we need to go for now, Paul. I think, and everything all depends on the FAI what they decide, whether they give Vera Pauw another contract or they get a new manager in. But they need to do it quickly, because these games will come around faster than we think.
Yeah, I know. What about the players? Do we know is there good young players coming through, or the underage system? Or I know a few of the players in the squad are still based in Ireland. It's the one with Shamrock Rovers and Cork City and etc. Do they have to move across the water to a professional league?
Yeah, I think Abby Larkin has been defined in this World Cup. She played a few games. I think she played against Georgia away. That was a 9-0 loss. I think she got her first international goal in that game. She's only 18 years of age. She's a breath of fresh air. Many people think for this Irish squad. She probably will be getting the interest now from a lot of English clubs. Certainly from British clubs. I don't know, maybe Celtic, maybe the destination would probably be WSL for a lot of young Irish players now who make an impression like that. I think Jessica Stapleton, I think that's her name, right? She used to play in the League of Ireland. I don't think she didn't make the squad in this World Cup, but she's got a contract now with West Ham. There's a few players that have come from the League of Ireland who are going over to England and getting a good contract. So I'd be very surprised if Abby Larkin won't be getting a contract off an English club. I think she's only 18 years of age. Probably maybe she might spend maybe another year in the League of Ireland. I don't know. and then go over next year. But I think she's good enough to play in England now. But from what
And
I've
of course, the
seen of her.
difference is, and we're not attacking the League of Ireland, but that's only an amateur, and it's not. But across the water in England, they have a professional league. This
Yeah.
the Super League or whatever. They have some
Women's
name
Super
for
League,
that. Yeah, there's a professional league. There's also professional leagues in Europe. Is it Amber Barrett plays aside in, is it Belgium, I think, and you have other maybe
I
in
think
Italy
so. Yeah.
and Germany and places like that. So, but obviously England is the nearest. We'll say you have the context there.
Yeah.
We'll say, but and
Yeah.
there's another thing too, Noel. We talk about this in the men's team. We talk about the granny rule, but in the women's soccer too, as I mentioned, the goalkeeper we mentioned earlier on, Courtney Brosnan, she's an American to the system, Irish connection, very strong Irish connections. But the women's soccer in America is very strong collegiate, very strong at professional level. Should the FAI women be looking across there, maybe try and pick up one or two to the granny rule? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. But to be fair to Vera Power and if you like to have, I mean, Sinead Farley was one that has only recently come into the squad. I think she made her debut in international football in April, if I'm not mistaken. So she's already got a couple of caps. Now, the only thing that's against her is sadly she's 33. She won't play in the World Cup, but she could still make the Euro. So I think she's still a valuable player for the European campaign, and hopefully we'll get there. So there will be interest. I think Vera Pauw mentioned after they qualify for the World Cup. Now, obviously, people want to be part of a winning team. There was some phone calls to Vera Pauw. There was some phone calls from FAI that people maybe with the granny rule with English, Lily Agg.
Yeah. And you know, sorry for cutting across you. We know the English women's soccer team are very strong. They'll be in the shake-up to win this tournament. But there's bound to be plenty of players in England, like the men's, who have Irish connection, a very strong Irish connection. But the difference with the women's is you can also look across the Atlantic to America. So is that something that the FAI women should be looking into, as well as developing your own players, which is very, but just to mix to get an extra one or two or three extra players that would bring up the overall strength and depth?
Yeah, I think so. But well, obviously, I think the first thing that has to come is the people here based in Ireland, and we have to at least give them the chance, and hopefully, then go further field if we need them. I think the areas we need to improve in is in midfield and attack. If we can get players, as you said, through the granny rule, or players that are born and bred in Ireland, even better. The area now I do think we need to improve on is midfield and a striker. I do now. Leanne Kernan, Jamie Finn, they were people that should have been in the squad. They're already there. They might be given a chance with a new system, new way of playing, with a new manager. If Vera Pauw decides, or if the FA decide, and Vera Pauw both call it a day. So I think the future's bright. We need to capitalize on this, Paul, because I remember watching on RT. There was a Scottish international doing the analysis. They qualified the World Cup in 2019, but they didn't push on. They lost the playoff, of course, against us. To get the World Cup. So it's like, be careful what you wish for. If you want to play more attacking football, you have to have the right system in place. You have the right players, and you need the results. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing apples and oranges here with the men's team, but if you look at Stephen Kenny, he said, like, we can play a little bit more attractive football. We can defend well as well, but we can tackle a little bit more. And unfortunately, with Stephen Kenny and the men's team, we're not getting the results. We are more or less. We're probably even worse than we were before Kenny in terms of results. But I think he's building something for the future. But if you want to get results, we need to have a strong foundation at the back. Now, there's probably going to be one or two retirements. Niamh Fahey, Louise Quinn, Diane Caldwell, Anya O'Gorman. There are four or five players there that Paul that could call it a day. They might give one more go for the Euros, but there's definitely, I think Anya O'Gorman has retired. She came back, but Diane Caldwell as well. They might just call it a day. I think Niamh Fahey, if they're going to play a more attacking style, Niamh Fahey and Louise Quinn, they're not comfortable playing the ball up from the back, Paul. Nigeria had a brilliant goal chance in the first half. Louise Quinn sloppy pass out from the back, and the Nigerian player was running on goal, and it was a bad miss. To be fair, she should have scored. So I think if we're going to change the style of play, we need to have the strong foundations at the back. But also, I think we need to be a little bit technical, because we're built up at the moment, Paul, against the top sides, like them in numerous years, to win 1-0. But the trouble is, we go behind. We lack that creativity, and we need to get the balance right between attack and defense. Like most teams, to be fair, I know. We need a bit more balance. We're overloaded at the back. We've so many defenders, but we don't have enough creativity in the midfield. And a striker. Kerr Caruso ran our heart out, but at the end of the day, we need a little bit more up front, because it seems to be once like the Scotland game is I go back to the Scotland game is a blueprint of their Irish team. Defend very well, set piece, defend very well, and they hit teams at the counter attack. But if we go 1-0 down, we're in trouble because we can get maybe a goal back, but we very rarely score 2 goals against the top sides. If you look through
just before we finish up, do we know about the underage structures? Let's say I don't know, is it under 17 or in the, I don't know, but it's under 18s, 19, whatever the different underage teams. And it's of the investment, I wonder, in the API. We know the API hasn't overflown with money, as the man says. So I wonder, will there be the investment now, and maybe will this publicity maybe hit the investment to come into it, because you have to have, no matter what sport, you have to have the underage structure and at least 1 or 2 coming out. And they don't have to be winning tournaments or winning huge victories. We're just producing the players, 1 or 2 players out of every team. Or do we know anything about that?
Yeah, Paul, I think with the FAI at the moment, money always seems to be an issue. Facilities and stuff like that. It would be sad if we don't capitalize on this, but money talks at the end of the day, Paul. If you want facilities, you want the pitches, you want the best. Now, even for the men's League of Ireland grounds aren't at the best, so I don't know what it would be like for women's soccer underage as well. It's probably not the best, Paul, but we need to capitalize on this. I mean, I remember watching stuff about Jack Charlton's time and the tournaments at 88, 1994. People say, did the FA really capitalize on that? Was the investment, did we produce players as much as we should have? And the answer was sadly no, because it took us from 1994 till 2002 to get to the next World Cup, and we haven't been at a World Cup since. We've got to 2 Euros, obviously, under Trapattoni and O'Neill. But that was the time when the frying pan is hot, Paul, get on it, and we need strike with Ireland's hot now. So the FAI need to back this. They have a winning team at the moment. I know obviously we didn't have a winning team in terms of the World Cup. We have a good.
It's a high profile now. They've got huge television.
That's just it. Like investment and performances and results need to come together now and really push now for that Euros and qualify for tournaments on a regular basis. I think this team personally can do that with a little bit of investment, newer players, and freshening up with the squad. Maybe new way of playing, depending. The next couple of weeks we'll decide an awful lot with Irish women's football. Either the new manager or back in Vera Pauw, and then push on with newer players coming in, because there's going to be a few retirements. But the future is bright at the moment, much brighter than it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago before Vera Pauw came in. So the foundations are there, Paul. Whatever Vera Pauw does, go or not, the foundations are there, and now we need to capitalise on that. And the FAI need to step up now on this as well.
Yeah, but if you just go back before we finish up, when Jack Charlton came in the mid-80s, the first thing he did, he went around England and he picked up, I just named 4 players, Ray Houghton, John Aldridge, Cascarino, and maybe a year or 2 later, Andy Townsend. There's a few more of them. But them 4 players became, over the next 4, 5, 6 years, they became key players for Ireland under Jack Charlton. And I would call them, they were the extra gem, as I call it, that really pushed Ireland up with it. So, and we do know in the women's sport in Ireland, there's a lot of competition for women's sport. You have the Gaelic and the ladies football, the Camogie, the Irish rugby team, in terms of field sports. So that's why I think, will they look abroad to America and to England for the granny route to pick up maybe the equivalent of John Aldridge, Ray Houghton, Tony Cascarino, them 2 or 3 or 4 extra players that will give you that extra little bit of quality, just before we finish.
I think, to be fair, they are doing that, Paul, but probably need to step it up. Now, as you said yourself, the profile, results matter. Qualifying for tournaments, you're getting a higher profile. And I think, to be fair, they are doing that. There are players that have made contact with FAI, with Vera Pauw over the last. It's the right time, Paul. Shane Farrelly, she's done very, very well, but she was trying in at the deep end. Coming back, very technical player, coming back in April, and then it doesn't. You would hope now that the harmony stays with the squad, because you've had players that were during the qualifiers and looked like they're going to the World Cup, but then all of a sudden newer players came in who weren't part of the qualifying phase. So there has to be careful too that obviously other players might be happy that they qualify, but in fact, then someone else are playing the seat they're playing, which they might seem as unfair. So that balance has to be struck, Paul, to be honest with you, because players want to play, and if they see someone else who's just coming in taking their place, there's obviously going to be a bit of maybe jealousy is the wrong word, but there's obviously going to be a potential. But the manager, responsibility is to get the best players on the pitch that are available to him or her. So, no apologies for that at the end of the day, because managers have been we know ourselves like Vera Pauw could be out of a job this time next week. So
Yeah.